Hey my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I have got another design using the nail team's glitters of the week, the Bridal Elite glitters. This design is giving me real vintage bride vibes, so to see how I've created this one, please keep watching. So I am working on Liza, my red iguana hand, in this video. From the Gems acrylic range, I will be using the crystal clear acrylic and also a little touch of Rosabella, the soft pink cover acrylic. And I'm also going to use Precious Pink just to encapsulate the nail beds I'm going to be doing in this design. The glitter from the Bridal Elite collection I'm using is Katie. This is a real beautiful white iridescent with some silver sparkles. And then I've got this rose foil from one of the Nail Team foil sets and the Gems transfer foil gel. I will double check which foil set this particular foil was from and put it in the description box. I'm also going to be using a little touch of the Perfect Nails white cream gel. This is my go-to white gel at the moment for painting. The Nail Team is running down its stocks of Perfect Nails. It's not going to be stocking them anymore, but there might still be a few of these art gels left. And if they are still in stock, they are currently reduced. So if you like the look of it, go check that out quickly. I will link it down below if it is still in stock. So I'm just starting off applying crystal clear for my thin clear base, and then we will do the design. I have used the Gems stiletto tips for this set, and I've cut them down to create more of a mid-length coffin shape. Mid-length coffin shape. Now my thin clear base is done, I am going in and I'm working first off on the middle and the ring finger, and I'm going to be using Rosabella to create a smile line nail bed. So I've placed my first bead where I want that smile line to be. I've drained out a lot of the liquid so the bead doesn't spread everywhere. I can hold its shape, and then I'm using the side of the brush just to shape that smile line. I want to make sure I've got decent height to it, a nice wall to keep it nice and crisp. And when I'm happy with how I've neatened that up, I'm going in with a second cuticle bead and blending that down into that first bead just to create sort of that nail bed. Not worrying about any apex or the structure at this point in time, because I'm going to use Precious Pink to encapsulate this nail bed, and that is where I will create the structure and also add a touch more height to that smile line wall if I need it. I'm just neatening it up, also known as faffing, just making sure the coverage is how I want it. I haven't got any little dips or bumps or bits that look a little bit patchier than others, and also that that smile line itself is as neat as I can get it with the brush. I always file my smile lines before I add the tip colour, but I like to do as much work with the brush as I can to limit the amount of filing. And I can also refine the surface of that nail bed when I file that smile line before adding the tip colour. But as I said, this is just getting that nail bed colour in. I'm not going for any structure, that apex or anything, so I'm going to add that with Precious Pink. But once I was happy with that first nail bed and smile line, I'm doing exactly the same on the ring finger. So starting off getting that smile line shape, and when I'm happy with that, I'll add a further bead to fill in the rest of that nail bed and get my cuticle nice and neat. Like to blend that second bead into the first, and then I will leave this to set slightly, and then I will just encapsulate, as I'm doing here, with that Precious Pink. Precious Pink, should I say, is that beautiful translucent pink. It's beautiful for encapsulating anything that's sort of a pinky tone or a pink in colour. So it works perfectly on Rosabella or Pinky Pink for the nail beds, and I just prefer to encapsulate in this as opposed to building the full structure with the cover colour, because I think it gives it a slightly softer finish look. So I'm just doing that on both of these nails, making sure I've got the apex where I want it, making sure I've got all the structure to that nail bed, and also if that smile line just needs, the wall needs evening out or a bit more height added to it, I can do it with Precious Pink. I'm then going to leave that to fully set, and then I will file it before I add my tip colour. And I'm moving on to the index finger and also the pinky, and I'm just applying this beautiful Katie glitter just at the tip and blending it back towards the cuticle, just past that base nail free edge, patting it down, keeping it nice and thin because we need to encapsulate, and I'm still adding more, so I don't want to add any bulk. And once I was happy with the coverage on the index finger, I'm doing the same on the pinky. This really is there just in the background, it's my base. You're not going to see a huge amount of it, so it didn't need to be perfectly perfect. I just wanted it there for a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of interest. And as I said, I'm patting it down, I'm blending it back, and then I'm going to let that set. While it was setting, I just filed my smile lines off camera. And now, once that glitter is fully set, I'm going in with a layer of the Gems Gel Glue, or Gems Foil Gel, should I call it? I always do that, muddle up the words. So I'm just adding a nice layer of this just on top of that glitter. This gel glue is slightly thicker, so you want to pull it out as much as you can so you're not adding a really thick gloopy layer, but you still want it to cover fully. And then I'm going to bring my lamp in and cure this for 60 seconds. I've only applied the gel glue over top, or the foil gel over top of the glitter. I've not gone down the nail. And then once it's out the lamp, I'm going to line up that foil where I want those roses to be on top, and I'm just pressing it down, and then I'm just going to pull that foil away. Now, I've remembered after this first nail, with these floral foils, you don't need to hold them down for too long, sort of give them a quick hard press down onto that gel and then pull it away, and it transfers the image much better than if you press it down and rub it for too long. But certainly with foils, I find it is very much trial and error, and different foils apply better in different ways. So it's just working out how each foil works best. I'm doing the same on the pinky. I lined up where I wanted that flower to be, and that foil gel is still tacky until we add top coat to it. So if there are any little gaps, you can just find another area of the foil and fill it in before top coating. I felt this one needed a little bit more, so I've gone back and added that in, and then I was really happy with these two nails so far. Remember, there's still going to be a bit of tackiness from that gel, so I'm trying hard not to touch it because I don't want to get any fluff or anything on it. But I'm just going in now with that Perfect Nails White Art Gel and my Gems Avery brush, and I'm just lining right around the wall of that smile line. This is similar to how I would do a 3D French, except I'm not going to pull any of that down onto the tip itself. I am just lining right around that wall, and I've gone with a art gel as opposed to a gel polish because I get better coverage with one coat. You can do it with a gel polish, you just might find you need 2 coats. So I'm just going right up, getting right up into the wings. Don't worry if any of that paint goes on to the nail bed itself, because that has all been finished now, and anything that gets on top of it can be filed away. But I personally try to work as tidy and as neat as I can. Just going in, making sure I've got nice coverage all the way around, right up into the wings, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on the ring finger. Again, just around that wall, and this is going to give me, once the nail is finished and filed, it's going to give me a nice white line around the smile line. you will see when the nail is finished. So I'm just going to finish painting all the way round, and then this does need to be cured. But before I cure, I'm just going to go over top of the foil, just the foil, with some top coat. I personally prefer to top coat the foil before going in with any other acrylic, because sometimes I think the monomer and the acrylic can wash away and smudge the foil design, whereas if it's top coated, it's fully protected. So now the top coat is done, I'm going to cure, so that I'm curing that band of gel and also the top coat over top of the foil. Then you can just sort of buff over to take away the shininess of the top coat so that the acrylic has got something to stick onto. Now these are all fully cured, I'm going to go back in and finish off the index and the pinky, and on those I am just going in with Rosabella from the cuticle, and I'm just ombreing it down over top of that foil. So I've applied the bead roughly just at the back where the foil and the glitter fades out, and then I can work on getting a nice blend and transition between the two. Doesn't have to be spot on, I want to see some of that foil underneath, which is why I chose Rosabella and not a slightly darker cover colour. And I just want to fade it down ever so slightly. I don't want to cover up all of that rose. I just want a nice transition between the nail bed colour and then to the foil. And then I'm just going in with another bead just at the cuticle. This one's slightly wetter so I can get a nice neat cuticle and then blend it in to that first bead. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to do exactly the same on the pinky, just applying Rosabella. I stopped filming because I had a phone call, and then I forgot I'd stopped filming, and I applied the acrylic before I remembered. So you just saw me do the one nail there. Now moving back to our two middle nails, and I am just going in with that Katie Elite glitter at the tip. So into my clear acrylic, just picking up a tiny wet bead and then into the glitter, and then I'm just placing that on that nail tip right to the free edge. Just wash and just get into the tip of my brush so I can get that right up into the wings. Again, I'm trying not to get any on that nail bed, but it will file away if need be, and I'm just making sure I've got full coverage all the way, as I said, up into the wings, down to the very tip, sort of patting it down using the tip of my brush just to move the glitter pieces around. And then once this is all applied on this nail, the acrylic part of this design is done. So you know what that means. I now need to encapsulate this design in clear acrylic. So the middle and the ring finger, I only need to encapsulate the tip where I have got the glitter, but on the index finger and the ring finger, I want to make sure I encapsulate the tip where the foil is and also the ombre blend. I don't necessarily have to apply the clear right back to the cuticle. I just want to make sure I've got the correct structure to the nail and I've got the apex. When that is all done, I'm going to file these nails back to a nice neat shape and refine the surface of them, and then we will be ready to add the finishing touches to these nails, and of course my favourite job, add Miss Tina Top. So here they are all filed, and I'm just giving them a good wipe over, get rid of any little bits of dust or fluff or even dust from the filing, any oils or anything from my fingers, and hopefully you can see that little line of white around that smile line. I decided just to add a little touch of bling to this design, so I've got the Iris Preciosa crystal mix from Gems, and I'm just going to add these at the cuticle around the middle and the ring finger. So the Iris mix is a beautiful mix of AB, clear and opal preciosa crystals, and I thought it'd just go really nicely with this design. Just a little touch of bling without too much, and it just ties in nicely with the sparkle from the glitter. But as always, if bling and crystals is not your thing, you don't need to add this part. You could just go straight in with top coat. So I've done the middle finger. I'm going to do exactly the same on the ring finger. I've been sort of picking out the crystals as I find them ready for the ring finger. As you know, I like to keep the patterns the same, so the same colour, the same size, in the same order. And I'm just applying these with our Greta glue from Gems. And then once that glue is fully dry, I am going to go in and finish this design off with my favourite part, Miss Tina Top. So I'm going to add a nice coat of Tina to these nails. Whilst you can't fully see and appreciate that Katie sparkle behind the foil on camera, in real life you've just got that little bit of sparkle behind the flowers, and it is really pretty. On the middle and the ring finger, I'm going to push my brush right up to those crystals, get into any little nooks and crannies without going over top of them, and then just finish top coating the rest of the nails. We're going to pop the hand in the lamp for a 60-second cure, and then this design is finished. Of course, if you are working on real hands, don't forget to finish off with cuticle oil just to rehydrate the skin around the nails and of course your fingers themselves, and then you are done. But I absolutely love this design. It is really soft, it's really pretty, it's quite girly. I think it's very bridally, and those roses, I get real vintage feels from those roses, which is why I called this my vintage bridal design. But I would love to know what you guys think, so as always, please let me know in the comments down below, and I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up, and of course if you've not done so already, subscribe to my channel. As always, I will pop the product details and links in the description box. Everything I used in this design is from the nail team, and don't forget you can use Helen 5% off all full price products at the nail team. That does not include the glitter of the week, they are already reduced, and if that white art gel is still available, that is also reduced, so you won't be able to use my code to get pennies off that. But the acrylics, the foil gel, the top coat and the foils, you can all use my discount code on all of those to get a few pennies off. That is it for this video. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed this one. I will be back on Sunday with my final design using this week's glitter of the week before we introduce a new colour and glitter on Monday. But for today, thank you for watching. Have an amazing rest of your Friday and a fabulous weekend, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye! Mwah!